And here we go. This is the HABS form calling me, I believe. Hello. What's going on, guys?
Hey, what's going on?
Not much. Thanks for joining me tonight, eh?
Hey, man, thanks for having us on.
Yeah,
really, yeah, awesome idea, man. Having a lot of the podcasts in the community on, really cool.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard me talking to the Unfiltered guys, but when I started, it was a lot of the fan-made guys that really helped me get my foot on the ground. So I just wanted to, celebrate and give back to you guys who, we've been putting in a lot of work these last few years. So just wanted to highlight all you guys who are fantastic.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Us too. We got started basically the same time as from Flailing Hands, who I think you guys are going to have on later. So it's great for us to each give each other a hand in that, and and even giving a hand to some of the new podcasts that are coming up too. We got to stick together. Like Unfiltered said, it's not a competition. We all have our differences and our different opinions on things, and most fans are probably listening to more than one podcast anyway. So it's great to interact together.
Yeah, and for me, I don't do the social media thing much at all. It's really all Dustin. We always joke about it on the podcast. So I don't really know any of the guys. It's only HABS Petition. I've been on his podcast a few times. He's great. So I don't know if you're gonna have him on too. So, but I love doing this type of stuff, right? Because I just like talking about it. Talking about the HABS and doing these types of shows. You won't see me on social media too much.
Yeah, it's nice to connect, and it's funny you say that because before I started my own YouTube channel and stuff, I was not a social media guy whatsoever. I was on Reddit for a few years, but not a Twitter guy at all, and I've kind of had to become that just to for the exposure. But I totally get where you're coming from there.
Yeah, luckily I got Dustin, you guys, who spends his whole days on Twitter instead of working, so he can take care of the Twitter for us.
Nice. So HABS Unfiltered and I touch on a bunch of stuff, but something we didn't touch on was Carey Price, and he's starting tonight.
Yeah,
hey, go ahead, Marius.
All right, well, I'll go ahead. It's weird. It's almost like people aren't talking about it that much. HABS fans are they don't want to be too excited yet that he's back on his game. But these last 3 games have been good old Carey Price. It's been fantastic, and if he keeps this up, then it becomes real. Because with the offense and the depth the team has now, if Price figures it out on top of it, we can talk about the contenders again.
Yeah, well, we all know the Canadians are going to go, and it's been like this since over the last decade. The Canadians are only going to go as far as Carey Price brings them, really. And it's obviously a small sample size since they lost the fan weight, but 3 games in, he's allowed 3 goals. So hopefully we're seeing the new, the old Carey Price back, because the Canadians want to be competitive, especially against some of the the high-end teams like Winnipeg, like especially Toronto, of course. If we want to beat them in the playoffs, it's going to start with Carey Price for sure.
And it's not just the numbers. He looks so confident in there, right? Compared to before the fan weight change and all that, it really looks like whatever work he's been doing these last few weeks has really helped him figure things out, which is just great to see.
Yeah, he looks like a rock in the crease, eh? And I'm glad you brought that up about his confidence level, because that's the biggest difference that I've noticed is his demeanor is completely different.
Yeah.
It's back to his old self, confident, the swagger. He had the moment there with Brady Tkachuk. I think it was he kind of threw the puck at him or something like that, or gave him a little nod or something like that. But yeah, he just looks calm, confident Carey back there, and that's just so refreshing to see, because it just didn't seem like that beforehand, he'd let in a goal and you could just see the look of just disdain in his face.
Yeah.
No, exactly. It really does seem, again, it's a small sample size, but he seems to be back to his old self here, through 3 games. And, I'm sure he was sad to see Stefan Wade go, but, sometimes that just another sort of point of view or other new maybe source of practices that Marco Marciano has brought in, the goalie coach right now for the Laval Rocket, before Sean Burke comes in, it looks like it's helping. One of the things that he said that Marco Marciano was helping him work on is putting his hands in front of him and following the puck into his gloves, which you see he's doing deliberately, and I think that helped. You saw that a lot in the shootout the other night. That's what he's doing, and it seems to be helping him a lot. And Carey Price, when he's been at his best, is when he's being really conservative with his movement. Something that I noticed since the beginning of the season is that he was moving around way too much, and when Carey Price does that, that's when he plays bad. And if he can get back to that, just keeping it simple, really, that's when he plays his best, and hopefully that's what we're going to see.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know if you guys mentioned or saw a couple weeks back, I ranted and raved a little bit about some of the antics in practice where he seemed a little bit too silly, and maybe I'm way off base with it, but I mean, they love to release that practice content here and there. And there was a video they released, I think yesterday, and it was Suzuki coming in trying to get fancy on carry, and he literally just like hit the stick out of Suzuki's hand and put him on his ass. That's the carry I'm used to seeing from practice.
Absolutely. I mean, Carey Price plays well when he's having fun too. You know, if he's worrying, if he's if he's down on himself and down on the team, it's not a recipe for success. But it's definitely good to see him having fun again out there, and not having to deal with the media. When like he does especially when he's not playing at his best, and when the team's not playing that well. And I mean, hopefully he can keep it up, and hopefully he stays loose and keep having fun. And again, man, the Canadians start and end basically with Carey Price.
And hopefully them red pads are in the trash.
Yeah.
Hopefully them red pads are in the trash. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the red pads. Actually, I was going to ask, do you believe that whole thing? Because there was a post on Reddit yesterday that put all the pictures together with all the stats, and it's just, is it just a coincidence, or do the red pads actually affect him? I mean, I'm not a goaltender, but can red pads really, do you believe the whole thing that the shooters see more of what's open and all that? Because the stats are there. It seems to actually be making a difference.
I believe it. I mean, even sometimes when you see, after a goal gets scored, there was a moment there, I think the last time he wore them actually, which was actually the last time he wore them, he had a really good performance against Ottawa. However, they did score a goal, and there was a camera angle they showed of the shooter coming in, and you could just see every hole there. And then with the partial white pads, they're not fully white, but that area in his 5-hole, it is deceptive. It looks like there's much more space there than what there really is. So it would tempt a shooter to go for 5-hole when he actually is ready for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, practicing with blue pads, so is it not more or less that's going to happen?
I'm nervous about them blue ones. They're nice.
The red ones look nice, I find. The blue ones,
I think you should blue.
I do. I hate the retro jerseys. I know everybody loves them, but I hate them.
I don't like them either.
The Canadians should not be wearing blue, in my opinion.
No.
Red or white.
See, I don't agree. First of all, at some point I'm gonna have to kind of stop liking the retro jerseys, because if they can't win, they can't win, and you've got to move on eventually. But as far as how they look, the Canadians, bleu, blanc, rouge, right? I don't care if the Leafs wear blue. We can show the Leafs that we wear it better. Okay, screw the Leafs. But I mean, at this point, if they don't win the next game, because the players, we all know how superstitious they are, right? So they're thinking about it, they're talking about it. No matter how stupid we might think a jersey would affect winning or losing, these superstitious players, it's going to get in their heads, and it's going to get to the point they keep losing. They're not going to want to wear them anymore.
And for me, it's so trivial and picky and probably stupid, but the white number with the red outline just looks really strange to me on that jersey. Everything else about the jersey, I don't mind, but the way those numbers look just throw me right off. It's dumb, and I was going to do my best to like them. I thought I would once they're out on the ice with them, but I don't know. I just can't get used to it. But to each their own, right?
I think if you saw a few wins with them wearing the jerseys, you'd like it.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care what they wear as long as they win. So I mean, haven't worked out with the blue jerseys yet, but they're going to wear them a couple more times. Hopefully, they can rack up a few wins in them.
Yeah.
But just to give you an idea of Dustin's opinions with jerseys, one of his favorite jerseys he owns is the barbershop jersey. So I don't know if you should take his opinion really seriously.
Damn. I remember watching them on TV.
Favorite jersey ever.
Really? I remember watching them on TV, and it was like static. It was back, I think, in the beginning of the HD days. And it just wasn't made for television. Probably looked a lot better live.
Yeah.
But what was I going to ask? Oh, I was just asking the viewers on here about the North Division and the Canadian Division. Are you guys still enjoying facing the exact same teams, or like a handful of teams every night? Are you enjoying it, or do you kind of wish in a way we'd see some of the other teams in the league?
Well, I like the North Division, and I don't think it'll stay this way because of travel, but in a perfect world, I would keep the North Division. But post-COVID, teams wouldn't only play within their division, right? So I like the idea of a North Division, but still having games against other teams, but you're still in the North Division. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I personally love it. Like, especially playing against the other Canadian teams, it's teams that we don't necessarily, well, the teams out west, we don't necessarily get to see them that often. So it is cool to play them. What I'd love to see, and like Mario said, I mean, we're not going to be playing the same team over and over and over again all the time. But what I'd really love to see more, and even, you know, when things go back to normal, is these like 2, 3, maybe even 4 game series where you're playing the same team 2, 3 times in a row, like over a couple of nights. I mean, I think that really helps build a rivalry. You know, even when we do go back to a regular division, you know, if we go play, you know, Boston, you know, why not play them 3, 4 nights in a row? I mean, I think that makes it suit. I mean, I think that would be super exciting.
I agree for sure. That'd be fire. And then you also get the benefit of cutting down on travel, which I'm sure the players would like. The league will cut down on costs, or teams will cut down on costs. I think that'd be fantastic.
Exactly. I mean, you know, I think everybody wins. Like you said, I mean, it saves on travel. It's going to save the money, save the team's money. And I'm sure the players would love it too, not having to travel all the time. You know, they're out, maybe they're in Boston for a week. You know, then next week they come back to their family. So, I mean, I think everybody wins, and I definitely think the fans win in that situation.
The one thing that's weird about that, and we're seeing it this season, is how if you look at the schedule, the last 3 games of the season are against Toronto, and now we're going such big periods of time without seeing Toronto, right? Which is almost like, I love those 3 game series, but at the same time, it's a shame going so long in the season without seeing one of the biggest rivalries, right? So I'm sure there's a middle ground that can be found there. I do like the idea of the like 2, maybe not 4, but like 3 game series, baseball style. It's a lot of fun. We've seen it this year. It's like mini playoffs.
Yeah, I think the Leafs are one of the only teams where we really haven't faced them back to back, or one or two. One of us or the other has had a game in between against someone else. So we haven't had a actual series style play against the Leafs. Or there was the one time where we played them and won. Would have been a huge momentum boost for the team, but then we go on a 7-day break and play them a week later.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. So I'm still enjoying it too, but I am. It's kind of weird. Like, normally I'm tuned in, and I'm still somewhat tuned into the rest of the league because of fantasy hockey, especially, and players that way. But I've just, this year it's a little different. Kind of, I have to remind myself to go check the standings of the other divisions, just because I'm so dialed into what's going on in this Canadian division.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah, I barely paid attention to the other divisions at all. Like you said, I have my fantasy guys that I follow on my team. And I do like to watch the Hockey Guy on YouTube. Not to plug another YouTube channel while I'm on your channel.
No, that's good. He's another guy who inspired me to start as well.
Yeah.
Shannon's a goat.
He covers everyone, right? So it kind of helps me get up to date on the general. I just put it on while I'm working, you know.
Yeah, and he's another guy. It comes naturally to him. He's laid back. I really enjoy what he's doing for sure.
I don't know how he does it though. He follows every single team. It sounds exhausting.
It would be. And like, you got people in the comments or whatever, social media, like questioning his takes on certain things, but it's like, he's got so much on his plate to try and he's on it. Like, once something big happens or any news breaks, there's a video like an hour or two later.
Yeah, no, for sure, it's a lot of work. But I mean, like you said, I mean, basically the only reason I have been, take a look at the other teams around the league is pretty much because of my fantasy hockey team. But yeah, aside from that, I mean, the North Division is super exciting. But yeah, mostly I've been focused on that, like I'm sure most HABS fans have been.
So I wonder if the NHL likes that, though, if we're talking about like what they want to do moving forward and all that. Like, I wonder if because now it almost feels like it's like 4 different leagues, and then we're going to meet eventually in the playoffs. It doesn't really feel like one league. I don't know how much the NHL actually likes that aspect of it. You know?
Yeah, I'm sure they're probably not super happy about that. Like, I mean, I don't know how it is in the States. Like, I'm sure if you in Boston, I'm sure they talk a lot about the Bruins and their division, and other in other big markets like that. But I'm sure teams like Florida and Tampa Bay, there's probably not a whole lot of people talking about them, in their state and around the U.S. So, I mean, I think, obviously the Canadian division is getting by far the most ink and the most exposure. And yeah, I'm sure the NHL isn't super thrilled about that. So that's probably another reason we're on top of the travel, of course. Probably another reason that we won't see this beyond this season, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's a good point, because those markets definitely would want that big stage of playing in the Bell Center or playing against the HABS, and that's how a lot of them make their money at the gate when we go down to Florida and our fans fill up their building. So yeah, for sure. So you're the Habs form, or the Habs form. How long have you guys? So you started right around from Failing Hands, and how often do you release? Once a week?
Yeah. We during the season once a week, but we take we spent 3 years and we have something like 75 episodes, I think. So it's not every single week.
Yeah, well, like you said, man. I mean, during the week or during the season we do an episode every week. And then sort of in the off season, it's we try to do it every maybe 2 or 3 weeks. We try to focus on the prospects, and we've had some people from the Habs community on Twitter talk about prospects and the upcoming draft and stuff like that. So we like to talk about that in the off season. But usually once a week, especially during the season, we do the episode. And like you said, we started about 2.5 years ago. We've been doing this now.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's a lot of fun. It's like, before you guys started, was it something you wanted to do for a little while, and then finally bit the bullet and get it going?
For years. We had so many drunken conversations talking about how we should start a podcast.
Yeah.
Well, I think we talked about it like at least 5 years ago, if not even more than that. But Mario at that point was living in Toronto, so we never ended up getting it going. But Mario moved back to Montreal about 2.5 years ago, and that's when we started getting it going. I mean, at first, it's always, of course, like I'm sure all the other podcasts, we started just for a love of the Canadians, and we love to hear ourselves talk, of course. But, I still can't believe there's, hundreds of people that tune in to listen to us each and every week. It still boggles my mind. But, at first we thought we'd get maybe 2 or 3 people, our parents basically listening to us. But
yeah.
Yeah.
My mom does listen.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, man. Congrats on your guys' success so far. Where can everybody find you?
Definitely on Twitter. Twitter is where we're the most active. So at the Habs Forum, you can find definitely all our episodes. We post to Twitter and also on Facebook. If you guys want to give us a follow on Facebook, the Habs Forum again, and definitely give us a listen. And our DMs are always open. If you guys want to chat, ask them some questions or whatever, let us know. But thanks a lot for having us on, and we really appreciate it.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure, and we'll have to do it again.
Yeah, man, I'd love to have you on the episode on the pod sometime.
For sure, no problem at all. Well, Dustin, Mario, any final words?
Man, just hoping for a Habs win tonight. I'm going to say Carey Price is going to keep it going. He's going to get the shutout tonight, and why not? And let's say Philip Deneau is going to score tonight.
I think Gallagher gets a couple of goals, some beautiful Kotkaniemi succeeds. I can't wait to see these two play together. I think it's going to go really well.
It's going to be exciting for sure. Can't wait to have him. See him and Gallagher together, and Toffoli, of course. And that's a recipe for success right there. And I think Deneau and Tatar, obviously they haven't had a great season, but maybe a new line mate. Armia, obviously not the most offensive guy on the team, but maybe just sort of a change of scenery and having a new guy with them. Hopefully that can spark them.
Yeah, maybe he takes away some of the defensive responsibility from those two, allows them to get going offensively a little bit here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even if, it's probably not going to be the most offensive line, of course, but those are 3 solid guys defensively. So I think worst case, you're looking at a really solid shutdown line right there, even if they don't necessarily produce a whole lot of goals.
Well, right on, guys. Dustin, Mario, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks a lot, man. Take care.
Cheers, guys. That was awesome. Another awesome guest. Another awesome call.